So we can actually just start restorative now.
I know. Or we could just do the whole video like this.
Just like this. Hi everyone, welcome to this next episode of Yoga Rebels. I'm Burgundy.
I'm Lauren.
And this is about restorative yoga. We're going to show you what that is. So our last video was Yin. This one's restorative. Little bit similar, but there's a different intention. And so that's what we're going to show you. And so right now, we're in Viparita Karani, legs at the wall. It's very comfortable, but it is an inversion. So you still have to treat it seriously when you get out of it. Like, no hopping out of this pose, because you have had your legs above your heart for however long.
Yes. If you have high blood pressure, you want to be careful with this one.
Yeah. Inversions, and anytime you have your arms, your extremities above you, you've got a high blood pressure thing you got to look out for.
Yeah, you get that little bit of a spike.
Yep. I'm ready to come out of it now.
I am too. My feet are full.
Yeah. Really? So it's much more graceful getting out than coming into it.
Oh, that was really well synchronized.
Look at that.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. And then I usually hang out next to the wall for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because seriously, that's an inversion. We were probably in that for over 5 minutes. And inversions they usually have a huge impact on my headspace.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can feel a little bit out of it for a little bit.
Because I breathe different in inversions, whether it's supported or not. I breathe different in an inversion.
Right, you can't, and if you're lying on your back and your feet are up, getting that full deep breath is not the same because there's more compression, there's more shortening of all of the muscles in the belly and through the rib cage, so you can't really breathe and expand the rib cage as well.
Yeah. All right, so we're back over here because the camera didn't like us over there. So for restorative, you don't have to have any yoga experience, no flexibility. Pretty much for restorative, you just need to have the desire to take a nap.
Yeah, restorative I think is pretty literal, and I would say it's more of a whole body restoration, a mental restoration.
Yeah. And that's challenging too, because if you're type A,
you want to be doing something. Yeah. So in a typical restorative class that's an hour long, you might only do 4 or 5 things.
Yeah. So let's show a good restorative pose.
So a really common one would be to start in a restorative child's pose. So you might, and I'll turn sideways. So you might use a flat bolster, or you might use a round bolster. It's really personal preference because the goal with all of the restorative shapes is to have as little effort going into the shape as possible. You want this to be as though you're just melting into the prop. So you're fully releasing your body into whatever the supports are. So 1 bolster might be good, 2 could be good. Another thing that you could do, and I've had some people really like this and some people are not into it. Say your legs are tight, you could roll up a blanket and put it under your knees. So if having your legs, your hips down towards your heels is too much, you put your blanket under your knees, right in that little knee pit area, and then relax over the bolster. So you could turn the head to one side. Some people like to take a block and rest their head on the block. You could go full turtle mode and cover yourself in a blanket. In general, when you're in a restorative class too, the teacher's there to help you out with adding, subtracting props too. So never be afraid to just flag the teacher to come over and give you extra stuff because you don't want to feel like you're straining. You want to feel like you're completely supported.
So, and that's the biggest difference between Yin. So in Yin, you're using props. You're holding up your body, but in Yin you are looking for a deep stretch, and it is likely going to be uncomfortable regardless of how many props. In restorative, you want to feel like you could fall asleep like this.
Yeah, and you might fall asleep a little bit. You want to try to stay awake, I think.
you're gonna feel that sort of like liminal stage where it's like,
right.
You're like, oh, I don't know. What can I focus on? Am I here?
It is a hypnagogic state.
Yes.
That's
It
when
really
you're
is.
not, so separate from hypnotic, so we're not hypnotizing you with restorative yoga. It's in terms of your brain waves. So if we want to get sciencey about it, in restorative yoga, you're taking your brain waves down to the level that you would get out of light sleep. So not necessarily a deep sleep, because you don't, I mean, you want to be able to leave. But we're walking around day to day, we're doing things, we're in an alpha or in a beta brainwave state. So it's a little bit faster, there's more activity, more stuff going on. In a restorative practice, we're trying to get the brainwaves down to maybe like delta level. So right before you fall asleep, maybe. You kind of keep it there. So in that way, that's where the restorative part comes in. So as the brain waves slow down, then the heart rate slows down, the parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. So that's the opposite of your fight or flight. So that's your rest and digest. So getting that all stimulated drops your blood pressure, regulates your blood sugar. So all these things are happening in your body to literally restore you from that alpha brainwave fight or flight place.
And we're in that so frequently right now.
Yeah,
Like in society. Yes, like news stresses me the hell out. Like I feel that constant, like those things that have become normal,
right,
quote unquote, that just like they make me so anxious.
Yeah.
And we're not supposed to be in that. Like
no, that's for protection.
Yeah, like,
from,
there are no
bears.
tigers. Yeah, like I'm not running away. Well, hopefully I don't live in an environment where I'm running away from something that could kill me. Like
Right.
I really hope that you're not. Be safe. But so this is why it's also important, because I mean, okay, how many of us are working too much, and so we're in school, going to grad school, all these things, like there's so many stressors in life, and stress and challenges are good for you. You want to strengthen, you want to build up muscle, you want to build up your brain, you want to do all of these things. However, you've got to relax. And, if your sleep isn't good,
right,
then it's useless sleep. You need to, so all of these things we're trying to practice and get back into, and give yourself time to do. It's truly important. You have to. So and so you're also breaking your brain of that thing that we have in our society of thinking that if we're not doing anything, we're lazy.
Oh,
when the hell did that happen?
I feel like that's been within the last, I don't know, I feel like just within my lifetime
Yes.
it's increased and gotten worse. And
Yeah.
with everything moving towards instant gratification in terms of, we have computers that we can put in our pocket and you can get information. We're just simply having computers and cell phones, smartphones, we are making ourselves readily available at any time. So if you have, and honestly, at this point, most types of jobs, it's expected that you are available all hours of the day.
Yeah.
And with the increase in work from home jobs, which seem like they would be less stressful, you add in that people do then also expect that you are constantly and consistently
That's the thing.
accessible too.
I work from home.
You're on high alert at all times.
The only thing that I've removed from my life is, other than the job I didn't like, but the only thing that I've really removed is I don't have to drive to and from work in rush hour. So I don't have that. That's the one thing that I don't have in my life.
But then what ends up happening with that is then people don't have those boundaries
No.
between work and home.
No.
So then all
I'm
hours
constantly
become
working.
Yeah. So this is a good example of a way to work with a back bend, a hip opener. So this is a restorative.
I also like this for opening up my chest.
Yeah.
Because so I don't like my arms hanging. Although like at first this is kind of nice just to feel like my elbows drop and my chest open a little bit. But then knowing that I'm going to be in this for now. Restorative, you could be in this for 10 minutes.
Mostly, yeah.
If you've got a really nice teacher, you may be in it for 10 minutes. And if I'm going to really show you what this pose looks like, I need to rotate.
Yeah, I was gonna just work recommend that. Yeah, so you're using everything in a restorative yoga.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Grab
Truly.
as many bolsters as you possibly can without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Grab at least 2
I probably don't need to be in your lap. I don't know where this side of the camera is.
It's restorative. It's however you're comfortable.
That's
what makes you comfortable. I have to deal with it. This is your practice. Yeah, grab blankets. Grab 2 blankets. Like if I'm teaching a restorative, I try to make sure that I have blankets out so people can just like
I
grab
literally
them.
bring everything out of the crowd.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that, especially as a female, so I'll show you what I'm doing with my legs. So I'm just laying here with my everything hanging out. So for warmth, but also just like mental comfort, I just like to cover up a little bit just so that my crotch isn't hanging out. Again, we're being honest here. So for me to really relax into this pose, I like to have covering. I like to feel the gentle weight of the blanket. And then you're going to be in this for 5 or 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And your body, you know, as you're laying here, feel the difference between in the very beginning when you're like, what am I supposed to do in this? And then the very end. Like, I love that point. It's usually like 5 minutes in. Same thing with Shavasana, where all of a sudden, like, multiple people in the room are like,
Yeah, they finally give in. They're like, okay, I'm in it.
yeah, 'cause there's a part of it, like, you're holding your breath a little bit, too.
Yeah.
And then finally you're like, well, I gotta breathe, and I'm just gonna
Right.
like, let into this.
I like to remind people in these poses the same thing as Yin. You're not a hostage, but also you don't have anywhere else that you need to be right now.
No, you paid for this
You're
class.
doing exactly what you're supposed to be
Yes.
doing right now. There's no reason to feel guilty. There's no reason to feel bad because you're just laying there.
Yeah.
You're doing something. You're not actively moving, but your body is doing a lot behind the scenes.
And I think one of the things that I really like about this, about a restorative class, and teaching it anyway, is that in the beginning, the way that I explain it to my students is, this is also for you to learn to ask for what you need.
Yeah, that's a good
Because,
practice.
you know, you're not going to put me out. I'm here to help you.
Right.
It makes me feel good to come over and give you something to make you comfortable.
Right. I'll give you 15 blankets.
Right. What do you need? Yeah. And so it's a challenge. And I'm going to speak for women, and I can't speak for men, but I mean, you and I have talked about this. More men ask for props than women.
Yeah, it's like women are afraid to ask for things.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to bother anybody. Oh, I don't want to bother the teacher. Meanwhile, they're in pain.
Right.
Or they're super uncomfortable, and then they feel like they hate restorative yoga.
Yeah, but it's in everybody's best interest for you to feel comfortable, because
Yeah.
now you can leave being like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
You get something out of it, and you tell your friends, I love restorative at Yoga Happiness. And so then they come to class.
Yeah.
Everybody wins. What other kind of restorative pose can we show?
I really love, and I'll have to turn to the side to show this. I've heard this one called Vishnu's Couch, which I think
What
is
is it? Oh, Vishnu's Couch,
hilarious.
yeah.
And I love that name. The microphone's going to be in the way, and I don't care.
It's a little bit like, it's like Lionel Richie. It's like this. It's the side
You're
section.
like, literally, that's it. You can do a lot of different stuff here. It's a deep side bend, so you can let that bottom arm hang off. You could bring the top arm over. This might be all you do. You could bring a bolster between your knees, because the way that the hips and the pelvis rotate in or out, that could be just a little bit too much compression. So having that little bit of space between the knees can be really nice for better alignment. The knees can stay bent, the leg can be straight. So there's a lot of different things you can do for this one. For this one, I would typically have people in it for about 5 minutes per side.
You could even like, okay, so I'm noticing like maybe there's some effort here. So if I were like,
Yeah, you just
shove
keep
something
adding
in your butt
stuff.
there, then you're not going to fall back. You guys can't see back behind her, but
Yeah, like
that's-
if I'm like, whoa,
Right.
there's a blanket there.
so there is a little bit of effort to be in the pose, but like, isn't it amazing? It's amazing how much we need to stretch the waist and the rib. Like, we just don't do a lot of side stretching.
Yeah, so like the intercostal muscles, all of the anterior serratus, all those muscles that go over the rib cage, because we sit so much, everything's shortened, and the more you can kind of elongate that, get everything kind of lengthened out, you can breathe deeper.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's truly the majority of yoga poses. My first intention, other than is my foundation solid, whatever the pose is, it always starts with the floor. But then the next thing is, how much length am I giving to my spine for breath?
Yeah, for breath.
Because you want to still be able to get a full inhale.
Right, and for this one, cues that I like, even if I'm doing this on my own, breathing completely into the top part of the rib cage. So it's a little bit of, I almost describe it like resistance training for the lungs, because you've got the compression of the bottom part here on the side. So as you breathe, you're pressing into the bolster a little bit with that side of the waist, and then you're expanding and filling the air on this side. So that's more of like a mental kind of practice, but as you do that, you can really actually increase your lung capacity.
Do that on the other side. I'm interested to know if you feel any difference.
I'll show
And
you.
we can see that, yeah.
So for me, because I've got that left hip issue, having the legs straight creates a deeper stretch than on the other side. So
where do you feel that stretch?
I feel it at the tensor fascial lacet, the
TFL.
So you've got the IT band that goes along the side of the leg, and then you've got a muscle that attaches it up at the hip. So that's where I feel it, because my IT bands are a little tight, even though I don't even run.
Life happens.
You don't have to be a runner to have tight IT bands.
True.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so that'll vary from side to side. I think restorative is a really good practice all the time, but this time of year, don't come to class sick. But
just in general.
Once you're better, I think restorative is a really, really good practice to kind of get you back into life. Because if you've been sneezing, coughing, doing things that are like kind of like,
oh my God, they wrench your body.
Yeah, this is a time of year where I think a restorative practice is really good once you get over the cold. Don't come to class.
No. Once you're past the PSA.
Yeah.
Yes. Once you're past being contagious, please come to class.
Yeah, I would say start with the restorative before you get into anything else, to kind of like loosen all that stuff back up, because with coughing, especially like through the anterior serratus, you're like tensing, bringing in, and you can really like undo some of that and start to breathe deeper again too.
I know people who have broken ribs from coughing so hard.
Oh man, I burst a blood vessel in my eye, and I had like a red bloody eye for like a month last year from coughing.
So don't come to class with all your horror.
Don't come to class with zombie eyes and broken ribs.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not sick anymore, you can come to class with zombie eyes. That took a while to heal. And I just made sure that I faced everybody from one side.
Oh, you were the teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And then I was also doing like counseling too, so I would just sit at kind of an angle.
Oh my God, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I have to like warn everybody as soon as they come in. Just like, FYI, you're here for your severe anxiety, and I got
fired eye.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so is there anything else we want to say about restorative?
So restorative, what to expect. I would say wear slightly more clothing than you would for another yoga class.
Literally like socks, sweatshirt.
Yeah, be as comfortable as possible when you go in there, so you don't have to wear what you might wear to another type of yoga class. You don't have to take your socks off. You want to be warm, because you're as you relax more and the parasympathetic kicks in more, you're going to get colder too.
Yeah.
So it's like when you sleep. So be prepared to maybe have your head a little chattery. I have seen people get up in the middle of a restorative class, maybe it's their first one, and like go to the bathroom or go do something because they're like, ah! Yeah, they just need something. Yes, that's okay.
Fair enough.
You're not a prisoner in any yoga class. You can go to the bathroom. You can sit up and you can get water. So like you gotta take care of yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you. If you enjoyed that, please click like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time.